What up, guys? Welcome back to another discussion with Ashley and I around Recovery Month. Obviously, it's Suicide Prevention Month as well, so we're obviously really grateful to be able to be here and talk openly about stuff that we care about so much, and just being able to share our experience and our truths about what we've navigated and how we've gone through things. So today we're going to talk about how recovery is every day and why it's important that we address our recovery every day. It's like I was telling Dr. Mandy on one of our interviews, I was discussing around how alcoholism is called alcoholism. It's not alcoholism, right? And so it's something that we need to address every day. Just because we remove the substances from our life doesn't mean that we don't have to focus on the thing between both of our ears, which is the way that we think and the way that we act on a daily basis to keep that addiction at bay. So we're going to talk about that, how we're navigating day-to-day life as a couple, raising kids, and building routines that support our sobriety. So Ash, you want to open up with the first question? We can kind of just go back and forth with these.
Sure, yeah. When you hear about recoveries every day, what comes to mind in our family life?
I mean, I think when I hear recovery is every day, what comes to my mind is that it's something that needs to be addressed and needs to be treated every day. I mean, for me, and you know this when I first met you, and unfortunately you got to see the other sides when recovery was not my number one priority, right? As for me, my number one thing is my relationship with God. My second thing is my sobriety and my recovery, and then everything else falls underneath that. And when I don't have my recovery as my number one priority, anything that comes in front of it, I've seen it firsthand, I've lost.
Yeah.
And so it's important for each person that is out there. For me, I mean, what I do is I have my routines, I have my structure, I have, different things I participate in, whether it's different meetings, different groups, therapy sessions, Bible studies, the gym. There's a lot of things that I have, and it's basically something I've been able to cultivate that I do on a daily basis to address and to treat my alcoholism and or my addiction. Because at the end of the day, if you just removed, if you just need to remove the drugs and alcohol, people would just go to a hospital detox for 3 to 4 days, maybe, a week or two at most, and they'd go back on their happy way. But in reality, alcohol and drugs were actually my solution. It was the underlying issues that I needed to address that needed to be there, and alcohol provided that relief, or drugs provided that relief. And so it's a daily practice that I have to show up to keep my program as a number one priority. And so that's what I hear. I mean, is there something that stands out to you when it comes to recoveries every day?
No, I think that's great. And I also think that like the structure in our lives, that's what creates a lot of safety and recoveries, just like having that structure of, the meetings and service and, just.
Service is one of the biggest things that I think that we focus on is in giving back. But what Ashley is saying, and she actually taught me, what we learned through having children is structure and consistency creates safety. I mean, you think of a child that has routine, they're typically, not always, but typically they're more well behaved versus when you disrupt that routine that they have and they tend to act out. I haven't noticed the difference even as an adult when I thrive in consistency and structure. So I think that's a really good thing, babe. But how does sobriety show up in the small everyday parts of our life together?
I mean, it's kind of like I was saying before, just like, I feel like our children are such a reflection of the recovery in our lives because of the fact that we live in such an active recovery space, if that makes sense. I'm trying to put it into words, but I think having our children so aware of their feelings and their surroundings and making amends with others, those are things that we've learned in recovery and that we've instilled in our children.
Yeah, I mean, our kids, what I hear you saying is our kids are a direct reflection of the work that we put in.
Yes.
And I agree with that. And I think even just kind of going deeper with that, there was so much that was taken away from me when I was in active addiction, like the small moments. I mean, just, it could be as silly as this, which I love, is just in our bonus room, having the kids, I mean, whether we're hitting the baseball, we're riding the bikes, chasing each other on the horses, whatever it is, those little moments that those would not be existing if I was active in my addiction. And just, I mean, the times that we have down at the pool, the times that we have cooking, that when you and Delilah are making cookies, when we go watch our horseback ride, when we go to their softball games. I mean, there's so much that it shows up in on a daily basis that literally for me, when I was active in addiction, none of that stuff was, wasn't even existent. I mean, that's what I've shared in the past too, is like, I never thought I was going to have kids. I mean, I couldn't even take care of myself. And so like every day, like it doesn't show up just in small areas of my life. It shows up in every area of my life.
I think too, like alcoholism is such a selfish disease that when you finally like get into recovery, the selflessness is what happens. And so being able to be selfless and really focus on children and being present, like that's a gift that recovery has given us, you know what I mean?
Well, that brings up this next question. It says, what are some parenting moments that recovery has made possible for us?
Yeah.
What are some parenting moments that recovery has made possible for us?
Just being present. I think we have seen such depths and despair in our relationship that we know that like we have climbed that hill and now we get to reap the benefits of it. And so just being able to be grateful and showing that gratitude is such an important part of recovery, and watching our children go through that too. It's just really cool.
I mean, when I look at that, it's like what you're saying doesn't have to be something that's so like outlandish, like that's happened. It's like, it is those little moments. Some of the most important things in my life that have happened are those little moments. And so I think it's just being able to reflect on that. And I think the areas that this has shown up is like the ways that we practice our beliefs that were taught to us with our children. And you and I, every single night, I mean, you know, we participate with them in a routine that we have with them to help them be able to, not only it's an opportunity for us to establish a deeper level of trust, connection, and communication with them, but it's when we do the questions with them, the 4 things. What is it that you're grateful for? What could you improve upon? What was good today? And what's your goal for tomorrow? I mean, like that's something that, dude, the kids get excited for that. When we've instilled that, and I think it's an opportunity to be like proud around that. We've been doing this for years. When we don't do them, the kids are like, oh, we didn't do the questions. And it's like, man, like, and it's awesome because it's not only do they answer the questions, we're able to answer the questions, and it shows the vulnerability in us that as parents, even though they look up to us as their, you know, maybe they're superheroes or whatever it may be, is that we're not perfect and that we go through struggles as well. And so I think that's just a really cool opportunity of how, you know, these moments through what we have gone through prior to even having kids have really created an opportunity for us to help, one, grow closer with our kids, but hopefully mitigate potential issues that are going to arise in the future because our kids are pre-genetically exposed to addiction. So, how do we create routines that help us both feel grounded? I think we've already addressed that. I'm going to skip that one unless you want to add to that.
No, I just think we just had another baby, and so that obviously like throws a little bit of chaos into the mix, but just being structured, and like we were saying, structure and safety. Like I'm very militant mom when it comes to sleep schedule, and I think it's really important for the baby to feel safe. And so that's
called boundaries, which you didn't have years ago.
I'm putting all them in place everywhere. Lots of boundaries.
Very true. What advice would you give families trying to normalize sobriety in their home?
Oh, normalize sobriety in their home. What do you think?
I mean, I would encourage them. I think, a sobriety is in all areas, just it's beneficial all the way around. And I think, it's a healthy way of living. It's a healthy way of moving forward. And I think like when you look at sobriety, it's like, there's a lot of people have gotten better about communicating around it, but I know there's still a heavy, strong stigma that's associated with it. But I also think like changing the way that you communicate around it, like even the perspective is when people I talk to that are sensitive to like, oh, I'm an alcoholic or I'm an addict, I'm like, dude, let's just change the way that we look at this. Is this adding or subtracting to your life?
Yeah.
Right? Like, so, that's the way I see it, is like when you're addressing these types of things, look for the positives that can come out of it, not, pigeonhole yourself into such negative thought processes around addiction or sobriety. How do we balance sobriety work with chaos of everyday family life? That is a very, very good question.
Honestly, that's a really good question because...
Want me to answer it? Just kidding.
Sure.
Go ahead, sweetie.
We don't. It's madness. No, I'm just kidding. I think you're very good about this. I think this is something that I continually am trying to readjust just because of having another baby and changing jobs. I've had a lot of change going on in my life. And so a lot of that safety has been completely thrown. So really getting back in putting the things that are important and doing them very slowly. I try not to overwhelm myself with trying to be an overachiever about making sure that I'm doing this or this and having a checklist checked, So I think just my my Bible study on Wednesdays is very important to me, and just being able to do that once a week right now is what's serving me, to be honest. In church on Sundays, those are the two things right now that I can tackle while having a new baby.
Yeah. No, again, recovery ebbs and flows. I mean, for certain individuals, I mean, like sometimes you're deeper with stuff, and you're at a place of where you've had to pivot, and I think that's okay. And I think you've created the awareness around what it is that you need right now. And also, you've been seeing a therapist way more. I mean, there's other things that you're doing to benefit you, but you're molding to it. But for me, and where I'm at, and what I've learned is my recovery program. The things that I have to do, or the things that I get to do at this day, they're non-negotiables. I participate in them. Am I 100% perfect? No, but I'm pretty adamant around what it is that I do. And it goes back to what I had said about, God being my number one priority, and then sobriety is right underneath that. And so when it comes to work or different things, like I do self-care first. I'm not perfect at it, but like if I were to put on a scale, it's definitely like 90-10 of me definitely making my personal and mental and emotional health as number one priority, because if that's not in check, I'm going to be of no good to anybody else. That includes my family, that includes the people I work with, my kids, the people that I work with, colleagues, people that I interact with. The thing that's beneficial, and the reason why I say that is because I've tried it the other ways and it's never worked. And so when I was told, it's got to be your number one priority, and the things that are in that lane, like you can't take those away. Has been very true. And it's not like it's 5-6 hours out of my day. It's an hour or two that I just make sure that I incorporate, that keeps me on track. So they're non-negotiables. And for me,
yeah, I think exercise and meetings with God, those are like really important to you.
Yeah.
I think that those are great.
Closing, what's one everyday practice that keeps our family anchored in recovery?
I think prayer.
Yeah.
100%.
We are big believers. That's something I know, different strokes, different folks, but for us, God is a huge, huge thing for us. And I definitely know He plays a huge part in our lives. He plays a huge part in our kids' lives. And that is a very anchoring piece for sure.
Huge. Yeah.
So guys, we appreciate you joining us again. Hopefully some of this was helpful. Hopefully you're able to take some things away. If you have questions or comments, please leave them below. Otherwise, have a great day. And for all of you that are out there, and if you're still struggling, just know you're not alone. All right, take care, guys.